Okay. Hello. I
Hello.
am speaking with Terra Osma. Is it Osma?
Osman.
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 Okay. So almost like Osmond, but without a D.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No
Um,
problem.
so Terra Osman.
hmm
Tara, how are you today?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
Awesome. I'm doing great now.
Good.
And so you, Tara, you're in Michigan,
I
and
am.
you have a super cool business that I am excited to learn about. So your business is called Farmish,
hmm
and the
Farmish. Yep.
and you're on Instagram. You're Get Farmish,
Yeah.
right? Okay,
Yep. And all social media platforms. It's Get Farmish.
Get Farmish. Okay,
hmm
so Farmish is well, I'll let you tell everyone about that. But you also, I'm so excited to say because I think that people need to know about this. But you have an app.
Thank
You
you.
created
Thank
an
you.
app so that
Yeah,
people can find local food to them,
I
which
did.
is that is like mind blowing and so cool.
Thank
So,
you.
Tara, I'm going to let you tell us about your business and the app.
Okay.
So have at it.
Yeah, so it's a marketplace app for local food and farms. So originally think Craigslist for farmers and gardeners, that ease of use of being able to create a listing and people to find it. And so users can create a free listing for things like backyard chicken eggs, produce, garden supplies, plants, trees, honey, meat, dairy where applicable. And then buyers can search on a map or by keyword and then message the seller to complete the sale. My original dream when I first thought of Farmish was to find farm stands. We travel to northern Michigan every summer, and I know that there are farm stands nearby, and it just takes a couple turns off the main road. And I thought, how can we find these? That I'm a web developer, and a digital marketer, and so I knew that in this space there wasn't a lot of margin for web development and driving traffic to websites. And when growing season comes and goes so quickly, it's not always a priority. And I just felt this shift, and what I wanted as far as food sourcing for my family and what I felt like was now a necessity. And then I also felt that with friends and neighbors and people around me, I could see the discussions pop up in Facebook groups and on Instagram. I started following a lot of homestead type creators, people who are really expanding what they grew and produced for their family. And they had, a lot of them asked, like, how do I, if you would you buy this from me? How would I get this to you? How could I sell this on Instagram? I can't sell this on Facebook. And yeah, so I've been a stay-at-home mom for about 9 years, and I have done freelance web development. And so when this feeling kind of stirred in me around COVID times, I started looking around for different ways to create the solution, and I landed on an app. And so I originally hired a mobile app developer, did not work out, and so I started Googling and figured it out and launched last March. Well,
That's
March
amazing.
22. Yeah.
That's amazing. And I love that kind of COVID brought that out because
Mhm.
um, it was such a desperate time,
Yeah.
with everything was backed up and you couldn't get food, it just was so
hmm
scary. And so that's
Yep.
amazing that prompted it. And so it was supposed to be for farm stands. That's so amazing. It really is so
Yeah,
cool because you
that
don't
was
know
my
where they are.
original. Right. And I, like I said, I also grew up in a rural area, and so everyone knew who had the good corn. You knew where the corn stand was. You knew who had cherries in their driveway in July. And that was all word of mouth. And so many things have advanced, been elevated from that like word of mouth communication. And I feel like this was one of the last things that people still look for, still need, still have available, that is still relying on word of mouth. And I just thought there had to be a better way.
I love it. And I mean, so I also, as a side business, I have a jam business. And so I'm constantly, I see you feel my pain there. Like
Yeah, for sure.
I can buy grocery store fruit, but it's not from, it's from another country, all of it.
Definitely.
And so I'm like, all my fruit comes from Maine, except for citrus, which you can't really get in Maine.
Right.
But so, I pick the strawberries myself, and I buy local blueberries because I'm cheap and I'm lazy. But like right now I'm looking for apples. I'm looking for Maine apples, and I could really use that. That's really cool. But like, in the summertime, where's the best place to go to pick apples or,
Exactly.
But farm stands are amazing because we have a lot of them. And I know like a friend of my sister's in Cincinnati has a farm stand, and I don't know, I think it's just the people that live locally to her that know, but it's such an amazing farm stand. So I feel like that would be really beneficial for people to know about.
I go to the farmer's market, but especially around COVID, it got very busy, and I'm juggling small kids, and it's not like you have a grocery cart, that you can load up. It's a different experience. It wasn't like buying everything I need for the week. And so to be able to connect with those producers outside of a farmer's market, and because they still have things for sale. And so they're also considering, do I set up a website? Do I do online ordering? How do I get people to this website? How do I get them from seeing our sign at the farmer's market to going to our website? And so the intention with Farmish and some of the features we have moving forward is to keep all of that in the same platform where people can really create loyalty and customers and build businesses. And I think about apple, we have a lot of apple farms around here. And a couple of years ago, we wanted to buy apple trees. And I thought it should be easy. We live on Apple Ridge. It's a place where, we have like globally known soil for apples. And we could not find a local farm anywhere with seedlings. And so the next year, when I started working at Farmish and I started talking to apple farmers at the farmer's market, and they're like, yeah, we just don't know how to sell them. Like, I know. They're like, because people don't see our Facebook page, Facebook, you don't see the page content unless you're paying for ads. They have to be good ads. They have to be targeted. You have to spend consistent money. So, and they're like, or we have to try to get on the news or in the paper or something. And there were just too many different inefficient paths for them to take. And so I really feel like Farmish is the solution for that.
That's awesome. Gosh, it's so true. I mean, it's hard to advertise to people that don't know that they're looking for you.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. And for them to think like, okay, if we're selling apple trees for $10, how many do we have available? How many can we sell? And then you subtract whatever advertising you're spending, you're going to spend on that. And, and look at eggs right now. Like every Facebook group I'm in, people are saying, we're farmers. And thankfully enough people locally are tagging Farmish now. But because if you're selling eggs for $3, $4, $5 a dozen, how much effort should you be putting in?
Right.
If you don't have a huge volume. So that's been a struggle to speak with, like on the investor side or in the startup space, because they're wondering how if you're not charging for this transaction, where's this going to come from? Like, how are you going to make money? And so we're building out professional tools for people who are at that commercialization stage already.
Wow.
And the intent with that is to keep everyone below that free, to keep it valuable enough where people can take that 0 to 1 step of making their first sale, and they can build a business and commercialize if that's where they're headed, or they can just add value to the app by offering either consistently or when they have extra tomatoes or only during strawberry season or whatever works for them. And there's a lot of skepticism out there if that will work. And I'm pretty confident that it will.
Well, I mean, why do you got to be skeptic?
I know. And I like to say it's kind of like the Whole Foods crowd, where when I discuss this idea, and I've done pitch competitions and things, and when I talk about this, they're thinking like the fancy dairy farm that sells ice cream and gives farm tours and is, they're they're thinking like the small local farmer who's already commercialized, who has really cool branding that makes you feel good to support them. And I'm thinking of the stay-at-home moms with the homestead who have eggs and meat chickens and possibly pork once a year, and who have produce, because these are all things they're producing for their families. Right. And I want to give them a path to make money, or at the very least cover their expenses for the food and their work for their family. I think that's super valuable. That not everybody wants to turn into a commercialized brand. Some people are building that food security for their own family. And if they can get all those expenses covered by selling the extra that they have to people like me who don't have pigs, and I would love a well cared for pack of bacon, so it's just really been about telling those stories and trying to translate that to city folk.
Yes. Oh, it must get so annoying to have to try to sell the idea, because it's just so beautiful. Yeah.
And 85% of our users are women. So I've had comments like, oh, they're not real farmers. They're not like real farms. I was like, why? Explain that to me. Why?
What is real?
Right. Explain that to me, because there are other apps, there are other businesses who are doing this and trying to do this, but they are serving the already commercialized, those ranches with the fancy name and the cool swag and
thousands of chickens and
they're serving those people who are already commercialized for like a direct to e-commerce solution. And we're bringing everybody else along with us and my goal is to make it the place to buy local food. Like Etsy for farmers and gardeners. I want people to be able to make that first sale in person with a handshake and cash or whatever works for them. And then be able to build into, if they want to sell their meat online, if they're at that level of commercialization with the labeling and what they need to have there, to be able to scale if that's their intent. Otherwise, just to have a brand that's serving the community and that's compensating them for their work, and while building out food access points for people like me who live in a subdivision.
So cool, Terra.
Yeah.
I love that so much. I mean, I just love that you're not looking for the big, and I know that Rania she's gonna eat this right up. Rania is in British Columbia, and she's working with her community to teach them about sustainable and seasonal eating and local eating. So this is right up her alley, and I can't wait for her to hear this. But I love that you're serving the smaller farms or the family farms, and I think that, and I love your like the backstory. It's just so great. So I'm curious how it's going.
Yeah, it's going really well. We've all been bootstrapped so far. So typically the question we get we're pre-revenue, so we're not charging anyone yet. And we've had almost 200,000 downloads, all organic user acquisition. So all from word of mouth, which is nearly unheard of.
200,000?
200,000.
Dang.
Yep. We've had 10,000 just in the last week or so. Yep. So that is, once we started climbing up in the App Store, I got a lot of investors and firms reaching out. Cool. And I was skeptical very early on, and not to, I wasn't down that path yet. I wasn't comfortable with that. And I read a lot. I read over 200 books last year. I read a lot about the industry, like I said, I've been a stay-at-home mom for 9 years. So everything I've learned up to this point is from books. It's not been in an office. It's not been with other companies. It's from books. So I knew that there's a certain level of investigation when someone, like due diligence when they invest, and possibly they were looking at my success to qualify someone who looked more experienced, who was building something similar. Mm-hmm. And I later found out that was true in a couple cases. So my instinct was correct not to engage. But I got connected with a local startup community who's just been amazingly supportive. And I went through an accelerator through Michigan State University, and their funds are public and private partnerships. So their interests really are Michigan based in the economy, and really they look at it a little more service minded and not as hurry up and expand at all costs. And so that's been really really amazing, because this next stage within the next few weeks will be fundraising, and with that we'll be doing that on and the intent with that is to fuel what we know is working, and to do some influencer content on YouTube with evergreen content. We've already spoken with some amazing creators, and then implement our paid tools to really fuel that and to serve people. We've gone over a lot of different like monetization strategies. We've tested ads. And what I didn't feel great about those ads, it's not serving people. It's not bringing value to them. Like, yeah, we can make money, but I want our primary efforts to be in something that really brings value to people, to build out a storefront, to be able to take transactions for their CSA or their jams or something they can ship right within the app, and be able to have all of their different income diversification related to their farm, things that they sell right on the same platform. And
wow.
So that's my intent. And it brings more skepticism. It's a little slower going, but I think I'm confident that it's going to be the most effective strategy moving forward.
Well, as it catches on, as people hear about it, it's going to be the ease of use to have it all in one place. And that's incredible. That is so, so very cool.
Thank you.
And now we have in our area, and I'm wondering if there's a way that I have no control over this because I'm just me, but like we have Farm Drop here, which is It sounds kind of similar, but it's just it's our little area, but you can order your stuff online. It's like an online store, but it's from your local farmers. But I wonder if there's a way to like connect the Farm Drop area with Farmish.
Yeah.
And just be like, there's a local farm pickup.
And that's part of the intent, to make those connections with some of these paid features and allow people to network within the app and be able to decide if they want to collaborate a pickup of some kind, if they want to join in on a CSA, if they're both like smaller producers, and really just get creative and how they can serve the community and create food security where people are concerned about supply chain and production and everything, while keeping the money right locally where it should be.
Oh my gosh. Yay. I love it. I'm so excited. And I'm actually, so Farm Drop is also a Maine woman based. Oh, awesome. I mean, it's women CEO.
Yeah, cool.
And based in Maine. But they also, there's one in Western New York and one in Tucson.
Okay.
But it would be cool if that spread. It would be cool if, everyone was friends and everyone worked together.
Yeah. And see, and I've had people contact me on LinkedIn and say like, I'm building your competitor. I was like, why are you? I'm like,
thanks.
I was like, why? But I think a lot of people outside of the space, number one, don't really get it yet, which is fine. And then number two, we're not going to get in delivery. We're just not, that is not in our roadmap. That's not.
Right.
And so anyone who can serve people that way and present, and get local food in the hands of people delivery wise, I think that's awesome. Like we have, we've had a couple services like that locally that I've used and I still use because they're different things, and those producers are also at a different level and they're serving in different ways. But then we have people on Farmish who do offer delivery on their own. And so that's something we hope to offer some tools for, but not necessarily be the delivery.
Managed, right.
Yeah. So that's, I think that's definitely complementary. And I don't think there can be too much of that. I think as long as the farms are getting value from it, more people are producing every year. So I don't think there's going to be too much.
Yeah, that's awesome
for people to use.
Oh, I hope that it really takes off. I heard not too long ago that in Maine, I think it's 95% of the food that we eat in Maine is imported.
Imported, yeah.
Or it's the other way around. Something like we're not eating our own food, which is messed up. Because we have so many farmers and there's so much space and we're just sending it out, which is silly.
And I think some of that, I know in Michigan, some of that has to do with access. Like, I know there are like pork factories, like I said, but most of the pork in the stores are not local at all.
Right.
But I know that I can buy half a pig or, half a hog,
right.
But I can't find that at a store. Right. I really can't even Google that.
Right.
And so those are the opportunities that Farmish has been opening up for people.
That's fantastic.
To find and connect with. It's a different type of purchase. I think it requires a bit of a lifestyle change. You talked earlier about seasonal food. That's a lifestyle change for a lot of people. Like I saw on TikTok yesterday, someone going on a rant about the cost of raspberries. Well, she's in Wisconsin. Those
raspberries are hard.
Yes, those raspberries are from Argentina or something, and they're delicate and temperature sensitive, and we're really fortunate they're not $12 for a little clamshell thing, So I think just really adjusting that mindset, but a lot of people are already there. A lot of people are already on their way to understanding that, and even just looking at like, how do I save money in groceries? Well, buying in bulk, buying locally, eating seasonally, those require planning ahead and a different way to shop.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think you're right. People are kind of catching on to that, and it's a new way of thinking. So you're not going to the grocery store, you're going somewhere else to buy these things. So you have to plan that. And you have to make sure you have space for that if you're going to buy in bulk and stuff like that. Yeah. So I think it's then there's like, how do you find it? Right. Which is where you come in. Because you can't just find all this stuff at, Hannaford or whatever the store is in your area.
You have to hope to catch an Instagram story, because the algorithm won't show you what's on the feed. You have to hope that someone tags a Facebook page, because you won't see the content of the page unless they're running an ad and it's targeted to you and you happen to see it. So there are very few options for a small farmer besides, and I'm a web developer. I know how expensive it is to get a website, an e-commerce solution up and running and to maintain it. Not everyone wants to be a marketer. Not everyone wants to maintain their own website when they're, all winter, if they're calving or spending time feeding their chickens, taking care of their families. Going back to 85% of our users are women. I'm pretty confident that a lot of them, and over half our users, have not sold on other platforms, like 63%. So they are new producers looking for that 0 to 1 step. Which means if they have something available without Farmish right now, people may not be able to find that. Unless maybe they follow them on Instagram and happened to see the post. So yeah, I think there's a shift coming. What's really interesting to me about our users also is that we have people on both far sides of the political spectrum.
Oh,
it's very interesting. So a lot of our growth has come from TikTok. And so I've created content. I started last November. I've talked about equity, access, food systems, local food, gardening. I grow like a couple thousand pounds of food in our backyard. We have chicken. So I've talked about that. And it's really, I have very close friends I've made on TikTok who are on both sides of the political spectrum, very far ends.
that's great.
And I don't think there's been a time like that where people of such varying interests, I guess, have been aligned with local food being the solution.
Right.
There was, I looked at a lot of data, and in 2015 to 2017, there was a rise in interest in local food. Well, looking at that, it just seems like it was kind of superficial. Like it sounded cool.
Right.
Like
it was
cool,
a
farm-to-table restaurant, fancy.
That's so quaint.
$28 for this burger, and now it feels essential.
Right.
It feels essential to people who are leftist, vegan, environmentalists. It feels essential to the prepper, off-grid type. And all political extremes, everyone in the middle, it feels like it has to happen. Some ways positively, like this is a positive shift, in some ways out of fear. And so I think all these things coming together is a good opening for changing the way that we eat and buy food.
Yeah. Well, and it will hopefully maybe mend some fences, or, people will cross the, oh my goodness. That's great. I'm so glad. And it's true. Like, I know, I talk with a lot of homesteading people, and I'm on a lot of homesteading Facebook groups, and a lot of them are very, very conservative, and, I'm not sharing my information, and that's, that's fine. And then there are the people that are just, I just want, the kind of hippie people-ish.
Hippie people. Yeah, exactly.
But everyone has the same idea. It's just, they don't talk to each other.
Yeah.
So thank goodness for you, Terra.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. And with the privacy thing, I always have people be like, I'm not giving you my information. And first of all, we have no malicious intent with whatever information that we have. Secondly, there was a law passed, I think 2017, 2018, that your internet service provider can analyze, access, and sell your data. So anytime you connect to Wi-Fi, anytime you're searching, there's definitely a sector of people who are very concerned about government oversight and what you're buying and producing for your family. And they don't need Farmish to do that. There are a lot of different arms, there's the Patriot Act, there's that Privacy Act. There are a lot of different, they don't need Farmish to do that. But also I do understand the privacy concern. And so people don't have to put their address in. They can put their location as a public meetup spot. Mm-hmm. So of course, if you have a farm stand, you want to direct people to your farm stand. But if you just offer things a few times a year, there's really no reason to direct people to your house if you don't want to do a pickup at your house.
Sure.
So you can call yourself whatever you want. You can, you can meet up publicly
at the post office.
Exactly. And a lot of the same risks apply, like Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. So, people can layer in those safety measures as much as they can. We don't require, and that's the benefit of not forcing that transaction fee for every interaction, that you can meet at the post office parking lot and trade a chicken for some plants. Like,
have at it.
At it,
Yeah. No one knows anything. It's cool. Mm-hmm. I love that. I think it's so great. I love that people are starting to come together. Like,
Mm-hmm.
maybe not agreeing on everything, but at least we're all kind of seeing what we've done to ourselves
Yeah.
and are realizing that we need to fix things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and thank you so much for facilitating
Yeah.
that.
Thank you.
Was there more that you wanted to say about Farmish? Or, I mean, well, we should talk about the app. Like, how would someone find the app and use the app?
Yeah, so you can search Farmish in the App Store. It will come up. And then our website is getfarmish.com. And with the download links are right in there. On Instagram and TikTok, my name is Farmish Terra. So there are links in there also to download. I'm most active on TikTok usually. But yep, the app is free, and there is what's most exciting to me, and what we're seeing in numbers right now is we built in shareability. So every profile you can copy the link and share it. So you can put your profile link in your social media profiles. You can share it on a business card. The intent is at a farmer's market, you could direct people to that. You can follow a profile in a listing. So if you follow a listing, if the listing's updated, you'll get a push notification
Oh,
that the
right.
listing's updated. If you follow their profile and they add anything, you'll get a push notification. So like I just followed a strawberry farm. They're going to have you pick strawberries for the first time this year, they said. So I follow them because I know strawberries are such a limited window. It depends on the rain, how dry the field is, if they're ripe. And there's a bigger farm around us. They have a berry hotline where they set a voicemail, and you can call every morning. They change a voicemail, and you can call to see if they're picking that day. And so my intention is with Farmish that you can just get a notification. And when I tell people that, they're like, "Oh, that might get crazy." It's like, but really, how many farms are around you that you're going to follow?
Right.
It's not going to be 500. It's not like
in our dreams it'll be 500.
Right. But like, how far are you willing to travel depending on the item?
Right.
Like I'm willing to travel 30 miles to get maybe like a unique fruit tree or something, but for eggs, maybe 5, So, yeah, just really building that in so people can remember, and that as a producer that you can have a connection to people without, you don't have to do email marketing. You don't have to hope that it doesn't go to spam. You don't have to hope that they see your post on Facebook. So my first call to action once you download the app is to find farms near you and add them to your favorites. Click the star and add them to your favorites so you can follow them and you can get updates when they post something new.
That's very cool. Very cool. And I'm trying to remember your the app. What is the logo? It looks like leaves. Is it leaves?
It's like a map pin. Because the feature, let me see what I have. The feature is a map. So on the app, okay, and we have the logo and the map pin. So yeah, it's like a farm. I made it last fall. It's like beautiful. Sun rising. Yeah.
Nice and
yeah,
colorful.
we really want to emphasize that locality and being able to see what's near you. And that's not something other apps have done because they've prioritized being able to ship. And we're prioritizing community and being able to connect directly with people in your area.
That's so cool. Oh my gosh. I can't wait to just share this wide.
All of our growth has been from people sharing it and like talking about it in Facebook groups. Whenever I do it, I think it comes off kind of like self-serving. I try not to in groups, but I don't know how to dance around that. But
I have this amazing thing that everyone should be a part of because you get local food.
Yeah. And most groups have a no like self-promotion rule. Right. So I'm a rule follower. So
I'm not trying to self-promote. I just want you to have local food. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that is tricky.
So all of our growth has been other people sharing, especially in like hyper local groups. That's been really helpful.
That's great. I see that there are a few places in Maine on on Farmish, and they're a little far from me, but we'll see. I'll get them closer. Is there anything that I should have asked that I didn't ask? Is there anything that you really feel like you need to add?
I don't think so. I'm just really grateful that people have been so interested in this as much as I have, because I spent a few months just hunkered down in my kids' playroom and letting this out, and just to see so many people use it in the way it's meant to be used. And we get stories sent to us about people making their first sale, people creating logos because Farmish exists. They're filing for LLCs, or they're ordering labels and looking at where to get more chickens and and egg containers, and how to build these connections. We have people who are planting sunflower fields to have farm tours that they can post on Farmish and sell their items. Just people, and especially, I really have a heart for stay-at-home moms who are making it work with their kids and growing and producing food, trying to build in that layer of security, and then to give them a path to a side hustle, to getting compensated for their work and contributing their family another way is really important to me. And we're seeing that every day, which is really exciting.
I love it. That's so cool. I mean, I know, like, my jam business started because I was growing my own food because my job didn't really make money. So I was like, it was like my contribution to preserve food.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I made jam for my sister's wedding, and they were like, you need to do this. And I was like, no, but then I did. So it's not like, but it started the same way. Like, I just had, it was like a side hustle way to make some extra money.
Yeah.
Or save money even.
That was it's part of the reason I got into gardening too. It was like, well, if I can grow some of this, that we won't have to buy, lettuce every week, or we don't have to, it was just, a way that I felt like I could contribute. And so it feels really good to give people a path for that.
That's amazing. Yeah.
And you can list jams on Farmish. You can list cottage food if it's applicable in your state. So
cool.
Yeah.
Maybe so. Because I really like, my jam only sells babies basically in one place or on my website. But yeah,
we had a couple people list like sourdough and jam on the holidays, like a hostess gift or something, and really package it that way. And I think that would be really cool, like around Mother's Day, even to do like a salad kit or something like that. And so one thing, like if you're gardening, but also cottage food, to be able to offer that as a gift. I think that's one of the most exciting parts about our next step in development, is that we can make those connections and give people those ideas to be able to present their products, and for people to buy it and find a lot of value in it.
Oh my gosh, that's exciting. That's so exciting. Holy moly. So Terra, when I say the word sustainability, what does that mean to you?
In the context of local food, I think about travel and how far food travels, and thinking about, the fuel consumption in that alone, but also packaging and time, and all of those things add up to a system that isn't sustainable at its core. And especially, we don't have to throw up our hands and be like, well, what can you do? Because there are solutions, and there are people growing and producing food in nearly every community in North America. Right. So that's the first course of action I see when you look at sustainability as something that needs to be fixed, or something that's not a system that's not sustainable.
Ah, cool. Okay. So, and then, okay, people are going to want to join this. So, so the app is Farmish, and
Farmish. Yep.
Instagram, and you said all the socials, it's Get Farmish. So, and then, so that's how people would follow you. Is there any other way that people would connect with you?
They can email me. I answer all of our customer service emails, all our inbound emails. It's Terra, Terra at getfarmish.com. And when I send out if you join our email list, you can always respond to those emails, and I get those and I'll respond back. It might be at a weird time, but it won't be during business hours, but I'll respond back.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Terra, my gosh, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for your time. I'm so grateful for everything that you're doing. This is amazing. This is a game changer.
I hope so.
For the small farmers, for sure. And I can't wait to tell everybody to get on, because I know I work with a lot of farmers, and they just,
awesome.
There's a farmers market and they have Facebook basically.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just one more way to get out there. And, if people are traveling, if people are traveling, where can I go to find the fresh food?
Yeah, we've had someone who they live in a van, in a cool way,
Yeah. That's their choice.
Right. Not like olden days where it was bad. They it's cool. And they said they use Farmish, to find the eggs, and they found produce and stuff out west. And that's the goal, so we're hoping to kind of get some more of those stories out there.
Awesome. And what is your plan for the YouTube channel? I had this vision when I heard you say YouTube. I was like, are you going to do little profiles of some of the people that you're working with?
Yeah, so that's once we kind of roll out these new features at once, we'll be featuring people and have a big rollout with that. And then we have some big content creators that we've already spoken with to do some influencer marketing, and they are all very excited about it, is the best part. What I love about this community and homesteaders, and even the big homestead creators, the people who are superstars in the space, they want to love the product, whatever they promote. They're very transparent about that, unlike a lot of influencers. So that was really exciting to me that some of them they'd heard about it, they thought it was exciting, and they wanted to promote it. So
sweet.
We're looking forward to that.
Very cool. I'm looking forward to that too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you so much for all of your time, for sharing this amazing thing. Thank you for coming up with this app.
Thanks.
I'm so excited. I cannot wait.
You.
You're gonna explode.
Yeah.
You're gonna explode. And I'm gonna help you because I want everyone on it.
Yeah. Awesome. No, I really appreciate this. This is how we've grown, is just by talking to people, and which I prefer. I'd rather not say our ad strategy was amazing. I want people to be really interested in it, and kind of feel the movement. So
sweet.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. I hope you have a great night.
Yeah. Thank you too.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye, Terra.